This is CTV.
A state of emergency. This is a special edition of Nightline with Lee Chappell.
Good evening. The military is on its way. We have word tonight. Hundreds of troops will arrive in the capital region on Friday to help with everything from setting up generators to cutting down trees. The troops will come from Base Petawawa, where 2 Brigade Group was put on 24-hour standby. The municipality of Ottawa-Carleton and Lanark County asked for help after declaring a state of emergency.
Right now,
Hydro workers are being aided by colleagues from Toronto tonight. They came even from as far away as the U.S. in the battle to get power restored to as many as 300,000 people in our viewing region. The extra help will be welcome as the ice storm wears on tonight. People have been rallying together, from setting up shelters to offering free dinners. Here's Nightline's Timothy Walker.
Another night of wondering what the morning will bring. Power lines continue to fall. Trees snap under increasing pressure. Yet everywhere, signs of warmth in frozen communities.
We go up in the lobbies where it's warmer, and we have card games, and we get together in groups and we make cold buffets so that we're not alone.
In Aylmer, a free spaghetti dinner for those without power.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Everybody's been really pulling together a lot.
Donations of food, shelter, and time are flooding in for those in need.
Some of my regular staff that would normally be paid today said no, we'll donate our pay for the day.
Community centers have become temporary shelters where children play and their parents worry.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, you know, I went 2-3 times, but actually the whole street is, all the trees are lying down. And
many beds are still vacant at community centers. Countless restaurants provide a constant supply of food. If you need a place to stay, just call your neighborhood community center. In Ottawa-Carleton, there is also the information line at 560-1335. If you need money, plan ahead. Many banks have now shut their doors, and their bank machines are not all working. The cost of this storm for Ottawa-Carleton alone is being estimated at about $17 million. The value of the donations will never be known, just felt. Timothy Walker, CJOH News.
We deserve a break tonight, and we should get it from Mother Nature with just some freezing drizzle or perhaps a few flurries and northeast winds at around 25 kilometers per hour. But get ready for tomorrow. One more frontal zone to come through, one more package of freezing rain, and then hopefully that will be it for a while. I'll be back with the forecast in detail in just a few minutes. Lee.
Well, Jay, Ottawa-Carleton tonight is just one of 20 municipalities in eastern Ontario in a state of emergency. John Ruddle tells us that means, among other things, we all have to pitch in.
An extraordinary storm has prompted extraordinary measures to deal with it. Mid-morning, an unprecedented step.
I am declaring, as of 10 a.m. this morning, a state of emergency in Ottawa-Carleton.
This declaration means the region can access a pool of money to help with the cleanup. Emergency officials still have to put a dollar figure on the damage. The Ontario and federal governments have, in principle, agreed to help.
We'll take staff, they'll be signed something.
This emergency command center coordinates the effort, arranging 20 regional shelters, dispatching hydro crews and fire trucks. Mostly, this declaration is aimed at us all to understand the crisis.
We have an emergency situation. If you don't have to go out, don't. If you do go out, be very careful of fallen wires and branches and those sorts of things.
Travelers today found half the flights out of Ottawa canceled. Even the train station was shut down because of debris on the tracks. People seem to heed warnings to stay inside as hospitals prepared for the worst.
Most of the sort of day-to-day elective work has been canceled.
Police say 911 should only be used in cases of genuine emergency. Power outages, fallen lines, and other storm trouble can be reported to a central number. That's 560-1335. And be patient, they're very busy.
We need a coordinated effort. We need the community to pull together. Indeed, we need to express to the community the seriousness of the situation, that we have to be very careful, we have to pull together and help each other.
Emergency officials say they won't order anybody off the streets. They do say they want as many people as possible to take Friday off and stay at home. The state of emergency will be in effect until Saturday at noon. John Ruddle, CJOH News.
The storm has brought with it stories of hardship and heartwarming stories about the human spirit. Tonight, 38 seniors from Sarsfield are spending the night in the capital. Their nursing home had to be evacuated because it had no power. Nightline's Natalie Vanden Bosch now on a journey through the storm.
Through the damp cold of the storm, they came to Ottawa for warmth, and they found it.
If there's an elderly lady that needs a bed, I'll give her my bed for her to sleep in. I can sleep on the floor or any place.
Caregivers from Sarsfield came prepared with patient profiles and medication after their nursing home couldn't compete with the storm.
Well, the power was on, the power was off, and then we had a generator going too. So we kept them. It was just this morning it was starting to get a little cool, and we had them all wrapped up in blankets.
It was music to their ears, space for 14 seniors, the ones who require the most attention, to stay at Ottawa's VersaCare nursing home. The rest awaiting space in other area nursing homes.
It's a bit dramatic for them, all this moving around.
Chris Sands of VersaCare Ottawa is among those coping with the needs of many new patients.
We have residents who are Alzheimer residents who are wanderers, so we have to keep a watch for them. We have residents who have arrived here with oxygen, so they may require special treatment. But just the job of getting people toileted and fed and making sure that they're warm and make sure they got enough clothes takes quite a bit of work.
A long day, braving the cold, to find warmth in the generosity of others. Natalie Vanden Bosch, CJOH News.
The Seaway is also under siege from Mother Nature. The entire city of Cornwall lost power. The nearby Akwesasne Mohawk Reserve has been blacked out for days. The international bridge at Prescott was closed by state troopers. And a hydro tower was knocked over between Smiths Falls and Brockville, cutting power to both of those communities. In the Van Cleek Hill area, 600 hydro poles have been toppled. And in Kingston, half of the stately trees there are broken, half the residents without power. Radio stations were knocked off the air. Hydro says it will take up to 48 hours to restore power.
We have an enormous task in front of us in terms of trying to develop some housing opportunities for people in the community to ensure that they have adequate shelter. And we have the resources of the entire community working right now to try and address the issue.
It will be a day off for thousands of people on Friday. Schools, for the most part, are closed throughout the region. That includes Algonquin College, Carleton and Ottawa Universities, and Queen's University in Kingston. Public servants and the majority of high-tech employees will be staying home. Many retail businesses are giving their workers the choice to stay off as well, although regional officials have appealed to food stores to remain open. Elective surgery has either been reduced or canceled at most hospitals. Mail will be delivered, but garbage collection is canceled until next week. Later on Nightline, the storm of '98 do's and don'ts, how to tough it out, and how to help your neighbors.
Well, here in Ottawa, we picked up a further 15 to 20 millimeters of frozen precipitation through the overnight hours into the day today. And we're going to take a little bit of a break overnight tonight. We're down to freezing drizzle now for all intents and purposes from Ottawa, and that will, the clearing, not really clearing trend, but the lessening of the precipitation will continue to proceed into West Quebec in the next couple of hours. We're going to get a much needed rest overnight before the next system moves in for tomorrow. -2, northeast wind at 10, and right now our pressure is fairly steady. The good news, the wind is not quite as strong as we had thought it might have been through the day today, and it'll stay down around 10, 15, 20 overnight tonight. That's good. With the freezing rain, we're not able to report the present temperature at Brockville, Cornwall, or Maniwaki. Those automatic stations have been affected by the weather, so can't report on the weather there because of the weather. But it's -3 at Dorval and -3 at Pembroke, -2 here in Ottawa, 0 at Watertown, -1 at Kingston, -1 at Peterborough, and 0 at Trenton. And as we mentioned, we're going to have a look at our latest satellite picture. You actually be able to see a hole in the clouds, which is really welcome. Just from north of Toronto up to about North Bay, all the way back through Georgian Bay, nothing doing here in the way of precipitation. This is slowly going to move through the area very peacefully overnight tonight, which is good news for us. We'll put it into motion, though. This is the next system we're watching, though, and you can actually see this low starting to develop, the moisture source coming up from the Gulf, and this will be the next batch of freezing rain to come in here probably mid-morning tomorrow as it pushes into the Great Lakes region once again. So we've got this little clear band, and then the series of lows once again through the day tomorrow, again along this moisture zone here, but all of it is getting pushed out to the east by some colder air, and we think that after tomorrow, by this time tomorrow, another 24 hours, we should be into a break, and all we'll be dealing with in the weekend will be colder air and some flurries from the west, and that will be good. Overnight temperatures tonight look like this. Down to -6 degrees in Ottawa and the Valley as the cold air drains back in. -2 near the lake. Daytime highs for tomorrow. While most of us will be involved with freezing rain, along the lakeshore with 2s and 3s, you may actually start to see some melting in these areas, and that too is some good news. The rest of us can expect probably at least another 10 millimeters of freezing rain through the day tomorrow. Overnight tonight then, just freezing drizzle when you wake up tomorrow morning. One more round to go. Our Wake Up Weather Watcher, some artwork tonight from Andrea Lefebvre. Your Honeywell Home Security Systems 5-day forecast. The freezing rain will begin tomorrow mid-morning and carry on through the day. But by the evening, it should start to taper off to freezing drizzle, the high at -1. And then for Saturday and Sunday, we have clouds and just a few lingering flurries before Monday, where the call is for snow or freezing rain.
Wow. Well, several of the hotels, in fact, very many of them, have been offering discounted rates, as you know. The Chateau Laurier, again, offering rooms tonight, and they're full again at $40 a room. Also, the Red Cross has had so many calls of offers of people offering, you know, places for other people to sleep in their own homes, that if you call tomorrow after 8 a.m. to the Red Cross, they can match you up. So if you don't want to stay in a shelter and you want to find some new friends, hey, great things happening in the storm in sports tonight.
Plenty of hat tricks tonight in the NHL, and Daniel Alfredson rejoins the Ottawa Senators in Colorado.
Thanks, Carolyn. Well, later we'll have a list of road closures this night. Also, the do's and don'ts if you're toughing it out and staying at home without power. First, ice was the focus of sports tonight, but that storm came from Elvis.
Good evening. Elvis Stojko proved tonight he's going to be tough to beat at next month's Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan. Tonight in the men's short program, Stojko skated superbly in a jam-packed program highlighted by fancy footwork. He earned one perfect mark from one judge to sit in first place. Jeff Langdon of Smiths Falls is in second place despite missing his triple axel. He must finish in the top 2 to qualify for the games. In dance, no surprise to see Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kratz. They're in first place after the compulsories. Gatineau's Michelle Brunet and Chantal Lefebvre are second. And the biggest battle of the night was in the pairs competition. Christy Sargent and Chris Wirtz are leading the way in first, and former Canadian champs Michel Menzies and Jean-Michel Bombardier are third. The top 2 head to Nagano. Despite only arriving just 4 hours before game time, the Canadians showed no ill effects from the ice storm in Montreal. In fact, they blew away the New York Islanders with an 8-2 victory. This was one of the few goals the Isles would score. Brian McCabe scores his first of the season to tie it at 1. The game then belonged to the Canadians, and Brian Savage with a great night. Vincent D'Anfou sets him up, making it 4-1. Now that was just the warm-up for Savage. This was his 4th goal of the game, leading the Canadians to an 8-2 victory. Savage also assisted on 2 goals. The Isles have lost 9 straight games. Now it's on to the Rangers hosting the Capitals. New York started off strong. First shot on net, and Brian Leetch scores. Now the Rangers actually led 3-1, but then the Caps rallied back. Peter Bondra gets a beautiful back pass here, making it 3-2. And then it's Bondra again who scores the game winner, his 3rd goal of the game for the victory. Washington went on to win 5-3. The Capitals are undefeated in their last 5 games. To Phoenix at Boston. Hat-trick seems to be the name of the game tonight. Jason Allison scores his first of 3. And then with under 2 minutes to go in the second period, Allison holds on to the puck and then backhands it in for a 3-1 lead. And then in the third period, he earned his first career hat-trick, leading Boston to a 5-2 victory over the Coyotes. The Bruins are unbeaten in their last 5 games. Philadelphia and Carolina skated to a 3-3 tie. Vancouver and Colorado are tied at 3, and Buffalo and Los Angeles are scoreless in the first. Earlier today, Senators winger Daniel Alfredson left McDonald-Cartier International Airport to rejoin the team in Colorado. Alfredson, who broke a bone in his ankle over a month ago, will practice twice with the team before a decision is made on Saturday whether he will play or not.
It's going to be great. I've been waiting for this for a long time, and I'm happy it didn't take any longer. So I'm happy with the way things are going for me and my foot. The way we've been conditioning on the ice feels real good. So it's going to be fun coming out and practicing with the team.
To Subway's OHL scoreboard, Barrie and Peterborough's game was postponed due to the weather. Owen Sound was pounded by North Bay. Sault Ste. Marie beat Sudbury 5-2, and Erie lost to Windsor 6-2.
Well, if you think you face some tough challenges, then you should meet our high school athlete of the week. Josette Cowie is a wrestler at Woodruff, and she's a true fighter in every sense of the word. Josette Cowie took up wrestling 2 years ago. Being involved in a sport dominated by guys didn't bother her at all. Were you a little intimidated by the guys?
Oh, no. I have 7 brothers, so it's nothing.
Cowie also has 3 sisters. That adds up to 11 siblings in her family. She's one of 6 adopted kids in her household.
Oh.
Do you feel very lucky?
Yeah, very.
Why do you feel very lucky?
Well, when I got adopted, it's just taking me away from something bad and being me into something good.
And Jo has always been my #1 helper. I don't think I could have managed without her because she helped me with Zahir when he was a baby. And she helped me with Damien, and Damien was very difficult. And she and Damien were real buddies.
And they were special friends, despite her adopted brother Damien being deaf and blind. He died a couple of months ago of hepatitis B.
We just had to take one step at a time and deal with it as we go along, and that there's family members that's going to be around there for us.
Luckily, sports has given her the strength both mentally and physically to succeed and excel. Last year, she finished 2nd at the high school provincial championships in wrestling.
Last year, she had a problem with being mentally tough. She was tough on top, but when she got on the bottom, she gave in a little bit. But her wrestling this year, she is tough on top and tough on the bottom.
I like the individual work that you work with a team, but you also work when you're actually at a match, you're by yourself, and just the learning aspect of everything.
And the learning continues in the classroom. Cowie has an 80% average.
I think that the busier you are, the easier that you get to learn to keep on a schedule and do your work.
And the kind of work she would like to be doing in the future, helping mentally challenged children.
I learned that, all you have to do is try your best, and that somebody's always going to be there to support you in the end.
And briefly, this weekend's Canada Girls Hockey Tournament, along with tonight's high school girls basketball all-star games, were canceled because of the storm. And here's a quick look at tonight's NBA scoreboard. New Jersey edged Orlando by 2 points. Seattle down Cleveland, Sacramento 103, Dallas 92. Indiana over Houston, and Milwaukee is trailing Utah 88-84 in the 4th. And that's all the sports.
Thanks, Caroline. Well, coming up after the break, emergency preparedness. What to do and what not to do to weather the storm safely at home.
The worst ice storm in decades cripples the capital. CJOH News is on the job.
We're live now from the downtown area where flooding is becoming a problem.
Things have changed a little bit. Good thing you tuned in tonight.
Like our hometown, we learn to cope.
Like you, we've been hit by the storm. We are now on emergency power.
When it happens again.
And more freezing rain coming our way for Thursday.
Count on us to keep you informed. CJOH News. Freezing rain or shine.
Well, it's not over yet. The weather remains unpredictable. The state of emergency in Ottawa-Carleton will remain in effect until noon hour on Saturday. If you are lucky enough to still have power and cable, we're going to provide you with some safety and survival tips. We're joined tonight by the head of the emergency preparedness for the region of Ottawa-Carleton, Doug Brousseau. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Brousseau, when we know that you're so terribly busy. Now, as I said, it's not over. What steps should people be taking to prepare for day 5 of the storm?
Well, what we want people to do, number one, is to be wherever they are safe. And for most people, that's to stay in their own homes, as long as they have power and they can cope. If in anticipation of maybe losing power overnight, we recommend that you make sure that all your, well, goes without saying, the doors and windows enclosed, but close the curtains or close the drapes. That helps to keep a bit of the heat in. We also recommend, of course, that you dress warmly, you have extra blankets on hand. A house that's well insulated can stay comfortable and bearable for many, many hours. And we're pretty lucky in the sense that it isn't in the minus 10, 15, 20 degree range, so that people should be able to cope pretty well by staying at home in their homes for several hours.
All right. What about things like flashlights and food and I guess the safety of fireplaces? We've already had a couple of fires, some of them related to problems with fireplaces.
Yeah, so that's a big concern of ours. We would recommend, hopefully, that people are using flashlights Candles are an emergency standby, but candles are fire. We recommend people have flashlights. We want people to have transistor radios so that they can hear messages that we're trying to get out to them through the media. Fireplaces, we want people to exercise extreme caution with fireplaces. We have had some experiences to date with problems there. Under no circumstances should people be operating cooking gas stoves in the house. Ventilation is absolutely critical for operating barbecues and camp stoves, that sort of thing. So we're asking people to be really cautious about some of those things. Common sense is the watchword, but this is all new for a lot of us, and we want people to take some of those extra precautions.
All right, let's talk a little bit about food. Is there particular food that you should be eating that is better for you when you're staying in a house with low heat?
Well, we're pretty confident that we're not talking days and days of this. If it cuts to the point where we are talking of days and days of being home, I don't think there's a lot we would say about what kind of food you should eat. Carbohydrates are good, of course, to develop calories and that sort of thing. But if it gets to the point where we're talking several days of being at home, we would recommend that you find shelter somewhere else. Obviously, friends, neighbors, relatives, that's where you should be, where it's warm. If you can't find a place to stay, give us a call at 560-1335. That's the Region's hotline number. We run that 24 hours a day, every day of the year, and we will try and help you find a warm place to stay.
Is there a special danger for children, especially infants, here?
Well, we're quite sure that the infants will get the best care possible. We're not that concerned about infants because we know that parents will not tolerate too much cold for newborns, for example. So we're quite sure that newborns will not be exposed to the cold. The parents will find a warm place for them.
I heard somebody today saying that, if you know of seniors who are trying to stay in their own homes, that neighbors should check on them.
Absolutely. This is like any other crisis. We've experienced some kinds, from time to time, some kinds of events like this. We've never had a regional emergency per se, but the community always comes together. We've been absolutely overwhelmed by the response we've been getting from people offering to help, but you have to help each other. You have to look after each other. If you know of a shut-in, if you know of a retired person, we don't want older people trying to walk in this. And the walking conditions are absolutely treacherous. So do your good deed, do your neighbor a favor, go and check on them. And if they are in dire straits, don't hesitate to call the Region at 560-1335. And of course, if it's an emergency, we're quite happy that people call 911 if it's a life and death situation. And
stay off the cell phones if at all possible.
It's been unbelievable. Cellular networks are just clogged. We've tried to contact people through the course of the day. Yes, if you don't need to use your cell phone, do us all a favor and stay off the airwaves.
What about hitting the roads tomorrow? The Region is asking people to stay home if they can. How important and realistic is that?
Well, we're not asking to shut down the community. We're asking people to exercise caution and common sense. Here at the Region, and we know most municipalities, the federal government, they're being quite flexible in asking or providing their employees with the opportunity to work from home or stay home. Obviously, it's safer to stay where you are safe. You're not necessarily safe walking on the sidewalks, under tree limbs, or on the roads.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
And stay with us. We'll have much more for you in just a moment. Well, it's amazing, isn't it, how much for granted we take electricity? Like most things, we don't really appreciate it until it's gone. Still, most blackout victims are becoming resilient and resourceful.
Scrape away the ice and snow, and this is what you'll find. Thousands of area residents dealing as best they can with the massive power-outs. For Claire Laferrière, it means a cold breakfast in the car listening to the only news she can get.
Well, we've been going around with...
Inside, this light from our camera is the most light Claire's family has seen all day. They've been getting by with a flashlight and candles.
We finished our supper with the candles and the fondue.
Despite the weather, Claire is still going to work.
Because I work with home care and we have patients on oxygen, and we're just maybe worried that that with the power shortage and all this that they may require assistance. So.
Because of the state of emergency, many others are staying at home. That means big business for video stores. Even this one hit by the blackout. No power, no problem.
Customer calling and wanting video because they were being sent home earlier, so they need something to do. So I said, okay, I'll wait for them.
Many other shoppers went away empty-handed. Cash registers at Bayshore Shopping Center were silent. For the first time in its history, the mall was forced to close. These blackouts are forcing residents to stock up. This man came all the way from Munster for heating oil.
So my neighbors were looking for some of this as well as myself.
No electricity doesn't necessarily mean no TV. If it looks like the Robertsons have power, that's because they stole it. 2 extension cords snake into their home, thanks to kindly neighbors.
And you've blown any of their fuses?
Once or twice. But they seem to still have a sense of humor about it.
But with the heater and the VCR plugged in, well, that means other household residents are left out in the cold.
Yeah, they're agree.
But the blackout is just dandy with 3-year-old Dennis. Who needs electricity when you have a flashlight and a box? Kim Brunhuber, CJOH News.
Well, many roads have been closed indefinitely, mostly because of power outages and power lines down. Here are just some of them. Highway 43 east of Smiths Falls, Highway 15 south of Smiths Falls, County Road 1 between Rideau Ferry and Lombardy, Chemin de la Montagne between Aylmer and Hull, and Prescott Police are advising you not to drive on Highway 16 or the 401. Well, in your morning newspapers, you'll find these headlines on the front page of the Ottawa Sun: a state of emergency. On the front page of the Ottawa Citizen, locked in a power struggle, communities band together to brave the elements. Our J.J. Clark says, what about tomorrow morning's rush hour?
Roundabout rush hour should be okay. It's mid-morning that we'll get involved in yet another batch of freezing precipitation, freezing rain, that is. Overnight tonight, just some freezing drizzle, northeast winds 15 to 20, -6 the low. Tomorrow, mid-morning, we'll begin what we hope will be our last round of freezing rain for a while. -1 will be the high. It should taper off in the evening, giving us a further accumulation of about 10 to 15 millimeters and a little thicker coating for the branches and the hydro lines.
A lot of people tonight saying it looked like lightning every time they saw the power surges and everything. Is sports tomorrow?
I should also mention the 67s game is canceled tomorrow night at the Civic Center.
All right. Thanks for all of us. Good night.